Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm really excited to be doing a full face of new makeup. We have a ton of products. I feel like the industry was sort of slow there for a minute and then it just exploded with new releases. I'm trying to keep up. I feel like there's a million blushes and skin tints. I just literally can't keep up. Today I'm going to be focusing a lot on the Makeup by Mario collection. I did receive this in PR. You guys have been requesting me to review this, so I apologize for the wait. In this collection there are 5 different products and then brushes to go with them. So we have the shaping sticks, which are cream blushes and cream contours. So we'll definitely play around with those, as well as some powder products. So we have powder blushes, powder bronzers, and powder highlighters. So we're gonna play around with everything, see how they blend on the face. I also have these 2 palettes I wanna use. I have the Lunar Beauty Life's a Drag Facelift palette. So this is Manny's brand. I love this packaging. And this is basically his updated Life's a Drag palette. So I wanna play around with a couple shades in here because this does have bright shades. And then I have this little palette from Colourpop, and I know this was kind of controversial. People were upset that this neon collection only really had neon packaging and then 1 pop of neon in there, which I do have to agree. It's basically a neutral palette with a pop of neon. So I'm just gonna use this 1 shade in here just to give me like a neon look because I really like the shade, but we'll talk more about that when we get into it. I also have a new skin tint. This is the Tarte Hydroflex Serum Foundation. I did get a small sample with one of my orders, so I thought that we would play around with it because you guys were asking me and there's so many skin tints, I really can't keep up. And then I also have a sample that I got with my order. This is the Clinique Even Better Concealer. I really haven't heard much about this, but I thought why not try it on, as well as this Lorac Holy Lash. I did use this in another video, but I don't know if the video is posted yet. So if it's not, this will be your first time seeing it, but I'm really enjoying it. It's the newest mascara from them. And then for lips, I have the new Too Faced Hangover Pillow Balms. This is one of my favorite products. I've raved about it so much, but they actually have different colors and flavors now. So I'll talk a little bit about my thoughts on those. And then in terms of what I'm going to use on my lips, it really depends on how my look turns out, but I have a ton of products. I have these new Buxom glosses in really bright colors for summer. I have the Huda Beauty Cream Lipstick, also the Luxe Lip Oils from the Colourpop Neon collection, and I have a Hermes lipstick, which I blacked out and bought, and I'm like, why did I do that? But we have a bunch of new products, so I will link everything down below. If you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel, and let's go ahead and begin. So as I said, I want to do a neon look today, so I'm going to be doing my eyes first, but I quickly wanted to go over the new Too Faced Lip Balms. So this is their expansion on their Hangover Pillow Balms. The original is my favorite. I use it every night before bed. I've recommended it many times. I've repurchased it myself, but now they have different scents or flavors, and some of them are a little bit tinted. There is a banana one, which smells like Laffy Taffy banana, which I love, and it's basically clear with a little bit of shimmer in it. It's downstairs in my bedroom. They have a chocolate one, which I don't really like the smell of. I don't know, I'm not really much into chocolate on my lips. My 2 picks would be the Mango Kiss and the Watermelon Kiss. The mango has a little bit of that gold shimmer. Again, it's nothing crazy, but if you're wearing this during the day and you want a little bit of pop of color, it's like very sheer. But I'm gonna put on the Watermelon Kiss. This is probably my favorite, probably because it has like a slight pink tone to it. So this has a nice watermelon scent to it, but this really is a treatment balm. I know I rave about the Lawless glosses. Now those are technically a lip treatment as well, but they're really a gloss. They're high shine, so they feel really nice on the lips and kind of smooth out the lines, but they also look like a gloss, whereas these are really more like a balm. So this is more of like a throw on and go, wear it before bed. It has sort of a menthol feel to it, which I actually like. It doesn't burn, it's just very cooling. Even the scented ones do, which I was surprised by because I thought the original kind of has that menthol feel. I didn't know if these would, but they're basically sheer. They're not going to give you like high shine. They're more of a treatment. So if your lips are feeling like super dry and you just want to throw something on, I think this is a nice option because they do have different scents and also a little tiny bit of a tint. So I'm loving these. So for the eyes today, I want to do something neon. I just haven't really done a neon look recently, so I thought we would play around with these palettes. I'm going to go in first to the Colourpop palette. This is the Moon Haze neon palette. Everybody was upset about it because they're really not neon. The one shade in here I really do like, which is called Dream Wave. It is pretty bright, like a bright, punchy neon orange color. So that's what I'm gonna use on my lid. But I will say this packaging felt pretty cheap, to be honest. And I know maybe because it's like neon, they had to have it like special made, but it just feels like, I don't know, like just cheap, not like the typical Colourpop packaging, even though I know Colourpop is a lower price. And I really did notice that this felt pretty cheap, but I mean, they are affordable. I just wanted to note that. There's no mirror in here as well. So I'm just gonna jump in to this shade and basically apply it all over my lid. And while I'm doing my makeup, I am gonna be trying more of the BK Beauty brushes. I've been really impressed with the ones I've tried so far. So I'm starting off with the 206. I have not tried any of the eye brushes until now. So this is gonna be probably a really good brush for this. So let's see what kind of pigment we can get out of this. I did put on a base and then set it with powder. So this is just dry. It's not sticking to anything. I don't have like a wet tacky base. Looks pretty nice. Let me get my mirror up. But yeah, I do agree that just having neon packaging in one neon shade is a little bit strange. I don't really know why they did that. I don't necessarily think every shade had to have been neon, but maybe like 3 in the palette and then maybe 2 that were more neutral. So I'm gonna grab the 201 from BK Beauty. This is basically a fluffy blending brush, dipping back into that same shade. And I'm gonna start blending the edges here and bringing this out a little bit. So definitely have a little bit of fallout down here, which is why I wanted to do my eyes first. These brushes feel nice. I mean, I've heard literally nothing but good things about the BK Beauty brushes, and they did not disappoint me. So I'm noticing as I blend, a little bit of this neon is sort of patching off my lid. I might have to actually wet a flat brush to get it to stick. I probably should have not set my base, but going back in with the 206, I wet it just so I can maybe see if this will stick if I just pack it on. I don't typically like to wet matte shadows, but so I feel like wetting it did help. If you're gonna be using this all over the lid, maybe do not set your base. So use a concealer or an eyeshadow primer, but don't set it so it can really stick down. So I'm gonna go in next to this Lunar Beauty palette. I love the feel of this. This is the Life's a Drag Facelift palette. So this is Manny's palette, Manny's brand, and he basically just gave it a facelift. So it's a new and improved version. So you have your mattes here, which are neutral tones, and then you have the colorful mattes on top, and then you have 3 shimmers. The shimmers in here are gorgeous. I'm not going to be using shimmers today, but I'll just swatch them for you. I mean, they're like high shine, beautiful. I'm gonna go in, I think I'm actually going to mix 2 shades. So I'm gonna stay mostly with Diva, which is kind of a really light pink, but then I'm gonna mix in a little bit of Kiki, is that how you say it? I think so. And I'm gonna kind of punch that up a little bit and see what we can come up with. I really wanna put the light pink right here and then maybe just blow it out a little bit. So let's see what we can do. So I'm taking mostly the light pink just to blend on the inner corner. But this is almost a 1 and done. I mean, it's a 2 and done, let's say that. And then I want to blend out here, but I'm going to do a little bit more of that hot pink when I'm dipping in. I do feel like that Colourpop neon is like sticking in certain areas and not sticking in others, so could have been my fault. Just definitely should have not set my base. So I feel like I blended really high up. That was my mistake. So I'm gonna take a little bit of Cake Face. I might even mix in a smidge of All Tea just to soften kind of where my brow meets the shadow up here. I went way too high. I don't know why I did that. So I'm just softening this. I definitely want it to be high. The problem I have too is that I have microblading, so my brows don't go straight out. It's really hard to do certain looks because I'm trying to kind of do these like lifted eyeshadow looks, but my brow microblading is in the way, so that's fun. Okay, so I'm next going to take a makeup wipe and just clean up this outer corner here where I feel like I got a little crazy. We do want it to be winged out, and once we put on lashes, it should look better. Before I go in with false lashes, I do want to use this new mascara from Lorac. I'm really liking it. It's called the Holy Lash. I used it in another video, but again, I don't know if that video is up. It should be soon. But this is what the wand looks like, and this really did a lot for my lashes. So I'm going to coat my lashes with this before I apply falsies. I was pretty impressed with this, actually. I mean, you can see that it is actually making my lashes show up. And it's not a super wet formula. It's more of a thicker formula, but I really have been enjoying it. It doesn't get crazy clumpy either. So this is what the mascara looks like. I really have been enjoying it. I feel like it actually does give me volume and length. It's not really messy. It doesn't get all over. It's not a wet formula. So I feel like I'm really gonna enjoy this one. I went ahead and applied some massive lashes. Sometimes it's just a vibe. Sometimes I just want some really big lashes, especially when I don't have liner on. And I did also put my Freck moisturizer on, as well as my Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer, just to prep my skin. Before we go in with this new Tarte Tinted Moisturizer or foundation, I wanna take the Nars Radiant Creamy Color Corrector, and I just wanna put this on a couple areas down here where I have a little bit of redness from acne, just because this is supposed to be a more natural coverage product. And I've been liking this Nars for under the eyes, but also just to spot conceal red spots. So now we're gonna go in and apply this base. So this is called the Tarte Hydroflex Serum Foundation. I did get a really small sample size that was free with my order just to see if I like it. Now they do have mini sizes that are $15, and then the full size is $39, but there's not as many colors in the mini sizes. So it just depends if you can find a shade. I'm hoping this will work for me. It's 25 neutral, so it's light, medium, neutral. It's a foundation that provides light, medium coverage with a natural finish that looks and feels like your skin. So I'm kind of a little bit nervous just because anything really natural usually doesn't work for me. I feel like it usually just enhances my texture, but we will give this a try. I've been liking the Nars Radiant Tinted Moisturizer, so I'm hoping that this, oh, it's really liquidy. Like real liquidy. Okay, I'm gonna start off with a beauty blender. Okay, it soaks up super quickly, so I don't know how long this would last. Very thin texture, very liquidy. Liquidy? Liquid. I feel like that just sounded really weird. I'm going in with my second, I guess, squeeze out of the tube. Definitely a neutral shade. My chest is a little bit warmer from self-tan. The one thing I will say is if you're using a sponge like I am, you might have to use a lot of product because it does soak into the sponge. I think just because of how thin the texture is. So this is what the Tarte foundation looks like freshly applied. I love that it has a medium coverage. You can sheer it out, of course, but if you need a little bit more coverage and you're looking for something hydrating that's just not mask-like, this might be a great option. So I'm really enjoying that brands are bumping up the coverage a little bit on tinted moisturizer products like the Nars Radiant Tinted, the Fenty Beauty Eavesdrop, this foundation. They're giving us more natural skin-like foundations, but they're giving us a little bit more coverage. So it's customizable, which I think is great because a lot of times I would try a tinted moisturizer or a more natural foundation in the past, and because I had general redness, I just felt like I couldn't get any coverage and it would just slip and slide, just look really patchy on my skin. So I like that you can do just a little bit of this and get a light coverage, but you can also do a medium and build it if you need to, or in areas that you do need to. It's a very thin texture. I don't feel like it's enhancing my texture. Of course, I am going to set this down, but I want to go in with the Mario products first. But so far, I'm quite impressed. I mean, I feel like I like the way it looks. I will have to say though that this is probably not going to be a super long wear. Anything that's hydrating, natural, dewy finish usually isn't a long wear, but we will see as the day goes on. So now I want to move in to the Makeup by Mario collection. This is the Soft Sculpt collection, and they did send this little book with the PR package, which I thought was really nice. So I'm going to use the cream contour first and then the cream blush, because I haven't set my base, and then we will do concealer, powder, and then we'll top with the powder products from Makeup by Mario. I'm not the hugest fan of cream contour, cream bronzers. I tend to feel like they really do lift, even if I haven't set my face, but we will try this out. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with the shaping stick. I have the shade medium, so the packaging feels a little flimsy on the cap. It feels nice and weighted, but the cap just feels a little flimsy. So you take this off, and here is the actual product. Let me swatch this for you. I'm gonna use this shade Medium just because I feel like that's gonna really give me the contoured look that I want. And then underneath, when you pull this off, there is a brush and it has these little bumps on it, and he says that this is great for blending. I've heard people say that it's kind of hard to get it back in. I think you just have to be mindful of that. So the way he says to apply this is to apply right under your cheekbones and then blend it out with the brush. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm probably, I don't know, this always makes me nervous. So I'm gonna start out slow because I'm scared and I just don't do well with this stuff. So I'm gonna use the brush, and he also says to do a stipple motion rather than a swiping motion. For me, any type of cream contour has always just appeared patchy, and I'm not sure what I do wrong. I think honestly people's skin is just different. Now that blended nicely. I think people just have different skin types, and some people just have that really nice base that cream goes over. Other people, for some reason, just look better with powder products. I feel like that blended nicely, but I do feel like I just get this weird patchiness. I also have this weird spot around this side of my face that just wants to patch. So I'm taking a little bit more off my hand and going a little bit higher here. This is definitely a cool shade, and I don't think the brush is bad by any means. This is what we're looking like. Take a little bit up here. So again, just taking a tiny bit off my hand. I would probably prefer to do it this way rather than swiping on the face. I really don't prefer to swipe on the face with any product, even the most blendable. It's just not my preferred method. So here is one side with the sculpting stick in medium. I do have to say the brush is very useful. You can get the job done. A lot of times products will have like a sponge or brush on the other side that's kind of cheap. This actually, you know, blended in nicely, but I think I do prefer putting it on the back of my hand and then building. So I actually am going to put some more on the back of my hand right here. I mean, it's very pigmented, so a little goes a long way. And then take my brush and just gently dip in and build. That's just what works for me. I usually do this with a sponge, but the brush is definitely dense on here, but it's not too dense, if that makes sense. I think people that love a cream contour probably will enjoy this product. This is what my skin is looking like with the sculpting stick. I mean, I like the tone. It's not gray tone, but it definitely is cool. It was easy to blend out, very pigmented. I just typically don't like to do my makeup in this order, but I wanted to demo it for you. I don't think it's a bad product. I just prefer myself a powder contour. It just works better for me. Next, we're gonna go in with the Soft Pop blush sticks. So there's 6 different shades here. Typically, I would apply a cream blush on a set face. That's just kind of the way I do it, but I wanna try it today how he would apply it, which is on an unset face. So this shade is Soft Coral. It looks like it has a little shimmer in there. Pale Petal might be an option. I thought I saw raspberry. Yeah, raspberry is like, woo, which I don't want to match. This is what Soft Coral looks like. Let me actually swatch a couple more. Maybe Pale Petal, actually. They look pretty similar, to be honest. Pale Petal, and then let's swatch that crazy shade, which is Raspberry. I feel like everybody's been using Raspberry. Oh yeah, that's like, bam. Okay, I think I'm gonna go in with Soft Petal, actually, just to start slow, and then if we want to, maybe we'll put Raspberry on top. Oh, this is Pale Petal. And I am going to actually put this on the back of my hand and then use the brush to start. So let's start with Pale Petal. Okay, that's a really soft shade. I've got more on my brush here, but I'm not experiencing any lifting. It's a nice, pretty shade. You know what? YOLO. Let's go into that Raspberry. Why not? And Raspberry looks more pigmented. So I'm gonna ooh, that's pretty. Okay, so this is what the blushes are looking like. I have to say raspberry really is beautiful. It just like punches everything up. I don't have any lifting. They are very dewy. You could use a sponge or brush, but I will say the brush that comes on it actually is useful. So if you're in a pinch and you just want to throw that in your bag. But I am curious to try this over powder, so we'll have to do that later. But now I want to go on with concealer. I'm going to be using this sample card I got. This is the Clinique Even Better Concealer. It is a lightweight full coverage concealer. The only one I have that I think will work is Breeze. I might have to mix in a little bit of neutral, but this is just a basic old sample card that I got, I think in one of my orders. So I'm taking the shade CN02, which is the lightest shade, and I'm doing my concealer after my blush and contour, just in case I got a little crazy, I can blend this out. So I'm gonna go ahead and start blending this in. Color's probably a little bit light. It feels quite hydrating under my eye, which is nice. Okay, so I actually don't dislike that concealer. Of course, I really have to set everything down and see what it's looking like with powder. It felt creamy and quite hydrating. I would say the coverage is a medium, probably buildable to full. I've been using color correctors, as I said recently, but I didn't want to do that today because I really just wanted to test it out alone. Have you tried this? I haven't heard much about it. The Even Better Concealer from Clinique. I don't use a lot of products from Clinique. I don't know why, but I just don't gravitate towards them, but I'm not hating it so far. So now I'm gonna start setting my face, and this is where I feel like things will come together for me personally. I'm gonna go in with Pound Cake from Huda Beauty. This is a staple powder for me. And I'm gonna use this on my T-zone and down my T-zone, just because I feel like I have really enlarged pores and dewy foundations really do accentuate them. And then for the perimeter of my face, I'm gonna use my Fenty, and this is in the shade 260. I like this for the perimeter just because it's a little bit deeper. So it's too deep for my T-zone, but kind of going over that contour. And then I'm not gonna go over my cheeks because I'm just going to use the powder bronzer and blush on top of that. I went ahead and finished my brows off camera, but I wanted to show you why I struggle with cream products and then powdering after. So I feel like my face looks okay, but I don't know if you can see this like patching, and I have not touched that. It just looks really patchy to me. More so the contour, but a little bit of the blush. I just feel like my blush looks like patchy and it doesn't look good. It's like unavoidable. I don't know what I could do to fix it, but this just looks like a patchy mess to me. So we're gonna keep it moving, but this is just something that I experience with 99% of just cream products. I don't know what it is, and now I'm afraid to put powder on top because is it gonna lift and grab? Probably so, but let's go in with the bronzer. So I'm actually gonna use the shade Light Medium. The packaging is more substantial than you would think. It feels weighted. This is what the shade looks like. The only thing is I really have been loving a more warm bronzer. This looks more leaning, I guess, neutral. So let's go ahead and use the BK Beauty 104. I'm gonna start around the hairline. So it's definitely pigmented. This is where I get nervous because this is unset. It's so crazy. I see other people apply their makeup all the time and they're like, just set your cream contour and cream blush with powder. And I'm like, it just never works for me. I don't know what it is about my skin, and it's usually worse like on my cheek area. Does anybody else have the issue? I literally try, but I just end up with patches and then I get discouraged. So this is what the bronzer is looking like. It's a little bit cool toned for my taste. Lately I've been loving the Physicians Formula and the YSL, which are both pretty warm and they give me like that sun-kissed look. And I feel like it did blend out pretty decent on top of the blush. I still feel like I have a little bit of just some sort of patchiness going on, but I really don't know how to remedy it other than just doing my cream blush over powder like I typically would, and I will try that moving forward. But I want to go in next to the powder blush, see if this helps. I'm going to go in to the shade Mellow Mauve. It's just a really pretty pinky color, and I feel like I don't want to go too crazy on the cheeks because my eyes. So I'm taking a BK Beauty 107. I'm going to go over. Okay, the blush is pigmented. Let's go over this. Make sure I'm blending everything out. I'm gonna take a little bit of this blush right here. So I feel like I just have this like harsh line I'm not loving. Right here. And I think that's where it's grabbing onto the cream. I'm gonna try to go under my eye a little bit, more of a sun-kissed placement. Just to maybe make it look more seamless. Even put a little bit on my forehead. So the blush is on. This is what it looks like. I didn't really anticipate bringing it over my nose and cheeks, but I felt like it was grabbing on that cream, but I do like the color. So I want to go in next with the Soft Glow highlighter. I have the shade Pearl that I thought would work for me. And this is interesting. I saw these in store when I went to get the Patrick Ta palette, and they looked glittery, but they really aren't. This looks like a champagne peachy pink, not peachy, champagne, I guess icy pink. So I'm gonna start applying this. That's really pretty. I like this color, especially with the pink we have going on. Put some down the center of my nose. I also am gonna pop some in the corner of my eye. I just feel like because it has a little bit of a pink color to it. I mean, it's very subtle, but. So I went ahead and lined my lips off camera. I used my Nabla Nude number 5, and I'm gonna try this lipstick from Huda Beauty. This is the Cream Lipstick in Angel. It's a baby pink. I don't know if it's gonna be too pink. For this look. We have a lot of pink going on. It might work out. Okay, so I actually really love this. I know it's a lot of pink. I am gonna try to put on a little bit of this Buxom Gloss. This is one of their full-on plumping lip creams, and this is in the shade Bahama Mama, which looks like a really beautiful creamsicle. We'll see if we like it. Ooh, that smells like the beach. And the last thing I'm gonna do is apply some freckles, just because this look is really pink all over the center of my face. Since I did pull that blush in, and then use your finger to tap them in. All right, guys, here's my finished makeup look using all new makeup, and I wanna go over the products, starting off with the Colourpop Neon Palette. To be honest, this was a little bit of a weird release, having the neon packaging and really only one shade inside. I do like the shade, and I would use this in my crease because I like pinks and warm colors like that. But if you're looking for like a really neon palette, I would say pass, because this is not gonna give it to you. The Lunar Beauty Life's a Drag Facelift palette, I really wanna do more tutorials with. This is very bright, and of course you can get something sort of how I have on my eyes right now, but you also can do neutral looks in here. And then the shimmers are really intense if you want that pop of shimmer on your lid or something like that. So I'll have to do some more tutorials, but today I was just feeling the pinky neon vibes, and I really love the look I came up with. As I said before, before, I am enjoying the Holy Lash from Lorac. I really like how it's not messy, but it does give me volume. Of course, I threw on the world's largest false lashes today. I just really wanted to play around. But for every day, I've really been enjoying this. It reminds me of a smaller version of the Damn Girl from Too Faced, so it's not as messy. It doesn't get clumpy, but it really does give you that volume and length. So I think this is a really nice mascara. In terms of the Tarte Foundation, I have to say I'm quite impressed. I feel like it looks really nice. I'm curious to see how this is gonna wear, but I feel like it's quite smoothing. It's a thin texture. The coverage is nice, as I said, so you can really customize it. Now, I will say that I probably will have to powder in my T-zone, again, because it's a hydrating foundation. For an everyday by the pool or just going to a cookout, if you really want that natural hydrated look, but you still need a little bit of coverage, I think you'd really like this. Still too early on the Clinique, but I have to say that I feel like my under eyes look quite hydrated and smooth. The coverage was nice. I feel like with a color corrector, this might be really nice. If you tried this, let me know down below. Do you love this? I haven't heard that many people talk about it, but I definitely found it to be quite hydrating, which is something that I'm leaning more towards in my concealers. Moving on to the Makeup by Mario collection, I want to go over my thoughts, and we're going to start with the sculpting stick. So I felt that the shade was nice, cool toned, nothing too gray. It was pretty easy to work with. I didn't feel like it was drying down and I couldn't move it. It was buildable but pigmented. So I think if you like a cream contour, this would be a good option. Packaging feels a little bit flimsy on the top. But again, I mean, it's weighted. It just feels a little bit flimsy, like it kind of is shaking around in the component. But I feel like if you love cream contours, you're probably going to enjoy this product. For me personally, it's just not my jam. I just feel like I don't have the patience for it. I don't want to deal with lifting and powdering around it. But I feel like it was one of the easier ones I've used to work with. It's just not my personal preference in terms of like makeup products. I don't really love cream bronzers or cream contours. Now the cream blushes I do like, but I really want to try them like I normally wear my cream blushes, which is on top of powder. I have to say the raspberry shade is so beautiful. It really does give you that punchy cheek, and I felt like it almost looked perfect with the eyes, like a monochromatic look. So if you're gonna go for any of them, I would go for one of the more punchy ones, just because this really is beautiful and it kind of livened up my face. If you've used this over powder, leave me a comment down below. I'm interested because it is quite a tacky formula, meaning that it might lift your powder, but then again, we'll just have to see, because I do have other ones like the Tower 28 that are quite dewy that go well over powder. But my first impression is I really love this, especially the raspberry shade. In terms of the bronzer, it blended nicely. I don't have any complaints about the formula. I just prefer a warmer color. I noticed lately I've been really liking almost orangey bronzers that really give me that kind of suntan look because I stay out of the sun. So this is a little cool tone neutral for me. I would probably use this more for like shaping the face, contouring rather than bronzing, but I don't dislike the actual formulation. The color's a little bit cool for me. I'm excited to keep playing with the powder blushes. It's really hard for me to tell because I was layering so many products, but I'll keep trying these out by themselves and see what I think. But I do like this color. They say it's Mellow Mauve, but I feel like it's like a really beautiful, just like pinched pink cheek, which is what I usually go for. So I'm interested to keep trying these in other shades. And I actually really like the highlighter as well. This pearl color is quite interesting because it has a little bit of a pink backing to it. Very subtle though, and it's so soft. Like you barely put your finger in and you get that high shine. This is one that you could really buff into the skin or layer if you want that intense glow, but I think he said you could use these more naturally as well. I think it's really beautiful. I continue to be impressed by the BK Beauty brushes. I have not tried one dud yet. I just love these. They work beautifully, especially the face brushes just really wow me, but even the eye brushes I used today were great. Also, you guys know I love the Too Faced Hangover Pillow Balm. If you want watermelon or if you want mango, they have a little bit of a tint to them, so the original is clear, but really these are a throw on and go lip treatment, not necessarily a makeup product, but if you want a tiny bit of like a pink hue or a little bit of like a shimmery kind of golden peach, these might be a good option, but really you can't go wrong because I love the formula. I'm also a huge fan of the cream lipsticks from Huda Beauty. I really love the matte ones as well, but this is a great one for summer because it just has that high shine. It's very hydrating and comfortable on the lips. And then of course I love the Buxom glosses. I've loved them for years. So I will link everything down below that I used today. This lash is hanging on by a thread, honey. I just keep trying to push her back into place. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will link everything that I used today down below. Let me know your thoughts on these products, and just keep in mind that just because cream contour isn't my jam, it might be perfect for you. The product actually was great. It's just not something that I tend to go for, so let's just keep that in mind. But I wanted to demo the products really how he would use them, which is not over powder. But as we move forward, I will try the products over powder and see if I can get them to work, especially the cream blush. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.